Hi traders, this is Sin with the New Level Trading Report from Monday, June 27th. The Dow reclaims 12,000 as Euro debt news rally stocks after last week's losses. The Dow gained 108 points today, the Nasdaq was up 35 points, and the S&P gained 11 points. This is a 5-minute chart of our Dow Jones Index, and as you can see, I've put the highs and the lows over the last 6 days, and you can see this 12,217 area and the 11,875 area. So again, that movement up over the previous 3 days and then the last 3 days up, you can see this that sell-off, and then pretty much about a 50% retracement overall. But this is what's interesting. Again, we talked so much about it, but now you're probably hearing a lot about it, even on some of the news, the stock and news channels. But you can see this green line here is our trend line. That's a weekly trend line from the lows in 2009. And it's come right up into this area here, and so you can see lots of chop. And again, we had that high. I put this up. You can see these highs, and the interesting part is if we get back up here, then we break that downtrend, and you can see it highlights everything around this 12,215 area. So again, we pretty much retraced Friday's losses. The candle body, they both look about the same. We had a little bit of a bottoming tail here, but again, we're on just average volume, but not a bad day for the Dow. But this is again crucial. We're pretty much chopping in this area here, so we have to break down or up, and both of these, look, this would be the break of this downtrend line, and this would be the break of this large trend line that, again, let's just tighten it up a little bit. You won't be able to see all of it, but you can see some of that. And again, these were those multiple touches, and we have areas back in here again from the 2009 low. But we'll just keep watching that to see what happens, because obviously news is really making the difference in what's going on. It is some technicals without a doubt, but news and technicals working together, and that doesn't always happen. So again, this is just our 2-day chart of the S&P futures, and that nice trend upward. Didn't really come up to the highs of Friday, but you can see nice trend up. Obviously you can see we pulled down, just this is aftermarket last night and this morning, but then pretty much trended up throughout the day, and actually around this 1 o'clock area Eastern Standard Time, we had that really nice push up in the S&P futures. So again, just holding about perfectly on this 200 period moving average on absolutely average volume. You can see all the topping tails, so not much has happened. Basically, again, we had that topping tail and this body here, and then the bottoming tail, and if you put them together and flip them in the same way, they look identical. So again, that's exactly what's happened. Let's look at our dollar, and actually let's look at the Nasdaq really quickly, because they had a really nice day, and obviously some of the larger stocks did really well today. And this is what happened, a really steep uptrend, and just pulled back, and not even really a pullback diagonally, but just straight across, a nice horizontal pullback, and pretty much the same thing here. So again, ended up close to the high, sold off just a bit at the end, but this is what we're looking like. So we actually did break that 200 period moving average, and now we're just pretty much fighting to stay above it, and we are the body here not above it. We're on just above average volume. Let's look at our dollar quickly, because that obviously the euro debt situation and the 60, which is the euro, changed a bit today, but obviously that really again acting as a contrarian, sold off in early hours, tried to make a bounce, but just pretty much ended up close to the lows. But the interesting thing is, again, and I'm going to draw this this price line here, this is what we were at, this area of resistance here, and we again pulled just a bit over it. We've come just a bit over it and rejected it again. So again, a rejection, a really nice rejection candle, and then another topping tail, and so another rejection. But to me, what's happening now is we came up, and now we didn't pull back as much here. It's a smaller area in here, so I'm anxious to see how that plays out. Let's look at FinViz. This is an overview of what we look like on our indices, the Dow, the NASDAQ, and the S&P. So you can see again a decent uptrend. Obviously the morning hours are really nice to trade. After afternoon, not quite as easy to trade. Let's look at the heat map, and you can see again all green. So again, just pretty much nothing red to speak of. Microsoft had a really nice day. These bright green areas show the really nice trend up. Bank of America had a really nice day too. Let's look at our bubble study. And you can see as Amazon was one of the stocks that did really well today, up 4.5%. Microsoft had a nice day as well, up about 3.7%. SanDisk, which had been down on Friday, had a really bad day, was up about 3.6%. And let's just pull this out just a bit here. Let's see. Sprint had a nice day, up about 3%. DVT, which is DirecTV, up about 3%. So you can see again, this is our 3% to 2%. So lots of stocks did really well today. Again, a nice day for trading to the upside. This is what we look like on the downside. NVIDIA was down about 2%. BMY, which is Bristol Myers, down about 1.5%, and I'm going to stretch this just a bit. You can see here MOLX down about 3.9%, and BBY, which has done really well lately, had a downgrade today, so down about 3.5%. But again, overall, not a bad day to trade stocks. Let's go back to our charts here, and I actually what I'm going to do is go to our monitor page, and this is what I traded in the morning. Again, this is just morning trading, but as you can see, I traded Apple, Amazon, Cliff, Natural, and Cena. And you can see Apple, I had a little bit of an upside, but Apple was really the only trade I didn't do well on, and I traded it to the upside. So again, just did not trade it well. But Amazon, you can see I had a really nice day on Amazon. I was up about 870 bucks. Cliffs, I just scalped that quickly. I saw it at the end and just made a few bucks, but I actually had Cena to the up and to the downside, and I was up $270. Again, you can see I think the 170 was the downside. I just shorted it right at the end. It looked like it was going to come down, and I went long again very quickly for a scalp. So overall up 940 bucks for the day. Not a bad day, but again, I only traded the morning hours. Brian took over in the afternoon, and he does a great job of looking at everything. He's fantastic at looking at the volume profile and FinViz, and not a lot going on. So he basically was flat for the afternoon, didn't really get too much opportunity. He trades the futures really well, but again, very flat. In fact, let's just go back to what was happening in the futures. Especially let's look at the Russell futures. Lots of chop here, but pretty much flat. In fact, what I'm going to do is we usually trade that on a 2-minute chart. So let's go look at that. And this is kind of what we looked at here. And that's hard to trade. I mean, just a lot of chop up and down, but really not much momentum to the up or to the downside. So again, just not a lot of trading in the afternoon. Again, I did trade a little bit of Cena was that last trade I did, but overall that was about it. Let's take a look back at FinViz and look at what's going on tomorrow as far as news events. This is what's going on in economic news. We have the Case-Shiller 20-city home index and consumer confidence. So those are fairly important, and those can definitely be market makers, especially the consumer confidence. That usually will move the market, and so we'll watch for that. And then let's go back and look at what's going on tomorrow in earnings. We have let's see, it looks like MSCI Shaw, PRGS, SNX, OMNZZ, LPHI, and CYDE. So quite a bit of it looks like earnings tomorrow. Thanks again for joining us. We really appreciate it. Have a great afternoon. We'll see you tomorrow.